So let's get started. Today is day 5 on the journey to create an effortless life. I'm your coach, Indrani Phillips, and this is going to be amazing. Today we are talking about how to create abundance, part 1. Now, abundance is one of those things that is amazing, and the people that have abundance see the power of it, and the people that don't kind of maybe think, okay, is that really even possible? But I will tell you that when we have abundance in our life, life is more enjoyable, right? We can do the things that we really want to do. We can have abundance in our relationships. We can have it in our career. We can have it in our health. We can have it in our wealth and in our finances. And it is possible. And so today we're going to talk about a mindset strategy, and then tomorrow in day number 6 we're going to talk about how to take action on it. So it's all about using mindset, making sure we have the right mindset, and then creating a strategy to embrace it, so then it's magical and powerful on how fast it happens when you combine the mindset and the strategy. So a quote that I love is, "Men and women are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own minds." And this is by Franklin Roosevelt. And this is so powerful because we're only limited to the thoughts that we have in here. And studies have shown that. History has shown that. There's been so many people, like the president of the United States. He didn't have the resources needed. He didn't have all the money in the campaigns. He wasn't born into it. He was a product of his thoughts, and he didn't limit himself to his environment or to, his family or the money that they had. It happens to people all the time, and you see the innovators, you see the great thinkers and the leaders that came from nothing, and now they have this amazing, abundant life. Apologize for that, guys. And so it is all about our thoughts, because our thoughts create our emotions. And our emotions create our actions, right? So it's really easy to think about. If you go back and you think about a situation in your life that's happened. So let's say you got a ticket, and it was a traffic violation. You were speeding that day. Now, as soon as you get pulled over, you may have those initial thoughts on, oh my gosh, I got this ticket. This sucks. Why was it me? Why did I get pulled over? Because of course we rationalize it and say there's so many people speeding fast or driving faster than us. So why is it me? So you may feel targeted. You may feel really annoyed because you're already late, which is why you're speeding. And now you're going to be more late getting this ticket. And now you got to figure out how you're going to fight it, going to court, paying for the ticket, increasing your insurance. It's just a pain in the butt, right? So when that kind of situation happens, you're obviously going to have some negative thoughts. And those negative thoughts can create negative emotions like anger, fear, frustration, worry, anxiety, because you're going to be even more late and now you have more problems. And if you don't take care of that in the moment, it's going to impact your actions. And your actions can be towards yourself, getting upset and taking it on yourself, taking out on other people, maybe driving to work, you're already late and you're like, well, what else is gonna happen? Well, asking you shall receive, and maybe you won't get that parking spot. And then maybe as you're driving into work, you trip on the way into work and you keep on thinking, what else is gonna happen? Oh, this is just my luck. And when we have that perspective and that thought pattern, we keep on seeing that negative things keep on happening to us because that's what we're focused on. Now, if you take that same situation and the person says, okay, you know what? I know I got that ticket. I know that it sucks. You process those emotions, which is really important. You've got to process them. But then you think, okay, what can I learn from this? What can I gauge from this? And we did this work in day 1. And as you come through it and say, okay, you know what? Maybe next time I leave the house earlier, which means I set my alarm 15 minutes earlier. So I know that I won't be late. So I'm not driving to work being all stressed out. And you come up with a solution. And then you say, you know what? I'm grateful for that experience because instead of a mistake, you learn from it and you transformed it into a lesson, which is so powerful. And then as you do that, you start shifting your energy frequencies and they start coming up. And then instead of having a bad rest of the day, you can start anew, and you can have a new perspective on things. Because our thoughts lead to our emotions, which lead to our actions. And we can choose to complain about anything right now. I can choose to complain about, the lighting being a little bit off, or the noises from outside coming in and impacting the quality of this video. Or I can just be appreciative of the things that are working right. You see, we always have a right to choose. And until we're aware of our thoughts, we don't realize that. And that's when our thoughts can control us. And we've got to take back that control. And a thing that I love to say is that we can choose to complain about the things going wrong in our life, or we can look to find the lesson, grow from it, and then be appreciative for that lesson. And once we do that, we're gonna start radiating and creating more creativity in our life to be able to problem solve. We're going to be more self-sufficient in how to be able to take care of things. The change of negative thought will change all experience. Exactly, it totally does. It's transformative. And as you start doing it, it's like exercising a muscle. It takes time to do, but once you start doing it, it's so magical on how you start living your life differently. And I'm living proof. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with depression. I had a breakdown because I was doing way too many things at once. And it was so hard for me because on the outside, it looked like I had it all. Literally, I had amazing things in my life, but I wasn't fulfilled in my purpose. And as a result, I didn't go and do the inner work, but I just took on another business to create fulfillment in my life. So working in corporate America, having 2 kids, one was a newborn at the time, having a house and a interior design business that was successful, completely and totally overwhelmed me. It was crazy. But my breakdown, which I have so much gratitude for, led me to my purpose in life. So I could have just sat there and sat in that depressive state and said, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? This is ridiculous. And, stay in that negative emotion and not do anything about it. And I did. I'll be honest, I did. And I sat in that for a while and I felt sorry for myself. And then as I felt sorry for myself, I had guilt because I felt like I had no right to feel depressed for my life because I had an amazing one. But once I got serious about it and I realized there's something wrong, and I realized that I was the one that could fix it without medications, without doing anything crazy, or without changing my life and turning it upside down, I rolled up my sleeves and I started doing the work. And I started realizing how powerful our mind is. And the thing is we can't control the thoughts that we have unless we're aware of them. And the thoughts come from our childhood. It comes from our experiences. It comes from what we were told as a child, what we saw, how we experience life. We have so many thoughts that are built up, that are stored in our subconscious, that creates our actions if we're not aware of them. So exactly, someone is saying, I can't read your name on there. Exactly, Ken. I think that was Ken. I'm sorry if I said the wrong name. But that is what it's all about. It's about taking care of this in here. And once we get rid of those mindset that are holding us back, those limiting beliefs that are trying to protect us, and we say, you know what, this took us to a certain part in our life, but now it's creating an invisible glass ceiling. And that's how I felt for so much of my life, that something is holding me back. What is it? And then I started realizing that it was me. I was the one holding myself back with my thoughts that turned into my emotions, which turned into my actions. So as soon as I started getting aware of my thoughts and doing the work, things started changing. And now I can say that I have a life that I am obsessed with. I love every part of it, and I wake up with the same joy I do on Saturday as I do on Monday. And I never felt that way the 16 years I worked in corporate America. And that's because I wasn't fulfilled in my purpose. So guys, sometimes it may seem hard to embrace, the positive side of things, but if you want to make massive changes in your life, and if you want to live the life that you're meant to live, you've got to do the work. So let's go ahead and get into the homework. So for today's challenge, the homework is 3 pieces. The first thing we're going to do is really reflect on this week. That is what I've been holding back and for a while. You know what? And I definitely want to answer that or respond to that comment. So many times, because we don't want to deal with our own crap, we blame other people. We get super judgmental. We want to get into other people's business and start pointing the finger at everyone else. Or we take on another obsession. So for me, when I was in the place where I didn't want to acknowledge what was going on in my life, I started shopping. I started a different addiction which would cover up my unfulfillment inside. Has that ever happened to any of you? I know for me, that's been a pattern for me. When things got stressed out, I would either eat or shop. And so online shopping and Nordstrom's loved me for a very long time because I didn't want to deal with what was going on. So I self-medicated. A lot of people have turned to drinking and drugs and food and all these other addictions because they don't want to face what's going on inside, which is their unfulfillment. But once we start getting aware of that and we start taking control of that, that's when our life truly starts changing. So let's get into the homework. So number one, what you're going to do is you're going to reflect. You're going to take a few minutes and reflect back on the past week. What thoughts stick out to you? Did you have more negative thoughts, positive ones? And how did that translate for you? Was there a day where everything was just going wrong? Or was there something that you really did very well? And did you celebrate it? So really reflect back on your last week and see, did that support me in my goals and my dreams? Or was there a lot of fear and guilt and worry that pushed me away from my dreams? So the first part is just to get reflective of your last week and see how you felt. Did you feel good about it? And if you didn't, what did you feel bad about and why? Once we start going inwards and we start reflecting on what's going on with our life, it really is a true tale, and it really brings out the truth on how our thoughts are either guiding us towards our dreams or pushing us away. Now, after you reflect on them, number two is be aware. Be aware, starting from right now, be aware of those thoughts. Those thoughts, when we start listening to them and being aware of them, they take back our control. I am on catch, but these videos, I feel like for the challenge, I may end up taking down, but they will be available for the email list. So if you want to be a part of this, you can go ahead and click on my profile, and on there is the link to the 7-day journey to the effortless life. So somebody was just asking if the Periscope videos will be on catch. So number two, again, is just to be aware. Be aware of the thoughts that you're having right now. If you all of a sudden you're driving and you feel like you're stressed out, acknowledge that thought and say, well, why am I stressed out? What can I do? How can I transform this into more of a positive vibration? How can I take this emotion and turn it into inspired action? And that's the activity we did on day one. So now it's taking it to the next level because this right here is going to affect our abundance. And then the last thing is to take action. The next time you have that negative thought, really ask yourself, okay, whether it's, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get this done in time. Is that negative thought really true? Is that really going to happen? Or is that compounding and turning into a big story in your head that's not even the truth? And then ask yourself, what can I do to translate this and turn this into something that I can get benefit out of? And as we're aware and as we start taking action and changing our thoughts, that's going to inspire more positive thoughts that are happening. And as we start seeing that we are the solution to the questions, to the problems in our life, we start relying on ourselves more, and we can get in tune with our inner guidance system, which is our GPS. And we all have it, but we're moving away from it because of social media, because we're asking everyone